right, I'm here kind of trying to figure out how high the windlass needs to be in relation to the bow roller. I'm not going to mess with the bow roller. I'm just going to leave it. It doesn't make much sense to try to move that. And entonces, I think I'm good. I've got 3 layers of coosa here. I'm just stacking it up freehand. Not really worried about the level. I was just like eyeballing it. I definitely have negative slope there, more than 90 degrees or less than 90 degrees, whatever you want to say. Less than 90 degrees. That should be good. 3 layers. The problem is that I have to be up forward enough that I can still get into the anchor locker, because I want to be able to store, you know, an extra anchor and lines and whatever else up here. And if it was down all the way on the deck, it basically sticks over like 2 inches. This is obviously just scrap, but 3 inches ought to be good. I was initially going to just like basically coosa in this entire area and raise it, but I think it would be better, since there's going to be a hole at the top, for there to be water that can drain off to the sides really fast and away. It'd be kind of hard for it to clean it, you know, when I'm just washing it down. But I think it's better than having it all be on one level, because sometimes, you know, water will come over the bow and it'll basically hit the channel and run down here, instead of being all up here on the one level and then falling into the anchor hole, whatever that's called. I'm sure there's a nautical term for the anchor hole. All right, well, whatever I said about earlier, I decided just to go ahead and go all the way up. I could change my mind tomorrow, who knows? But these basically line up. This one, I used the 45-degree guide on the saw when I meant to use, for the end, the straight 0 degree. So I'm gonna have to glue a piece on there to the end to make it look normal, which is really annoying. And of course I'm gonna have to, like, you know, round over the edges if I glass over all this, which of course I have to do that because, you know, you gotta do that, right? And I'm gonna have to fill in thickened epoxy around the edges a bit. It's pretty close, but I went off the starboard cutout that I had for that bollard, so I didn't really measure it. I just kind of drew it, and then I went out 3/4 inches, knowing I was gonna need some thickened epoxy, so no big deal. But I think with these 4 layers, I should be able to clear the door. We'll see what happens. I tried it, but it didn't work. But also because it's like not sitting flat right now, because those cables have to go through the bottom, and that's just where they sit right now, because you can't tuck them in. But when it's leveled out, it just clears. I mean, kind of annoying. I might throw one more piece in, but I'm gonna have to make it out of 2, because I don't have any big enough pieces left of the coosa board, which is annoying, but hey, c'est la vie. Okay, how annoying. I ran out of coosa board basically, or big enough chunks, and of course I had a bigger sheet at home. I was like, I don't need that one, I've got plenty right here. Now I could just make a pedestal like I was already initially planning, but it seems like it'd be way stronger up here. I'm gonna be able to like really secure this, and then, I mean, to clear it and have the angle to the bow roller like I needed. I mean, I needed 5 layers of 3/4. So tomorrow I'll kind of shape it better. I've got to get one piece I have to stick in there, just like an inch wide piece. Then I'll just epoxy everything in, and I'll go every layer I'll screw. Like, I'll have to go the top layer. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go top layer with the template and then go down each one so that it all matches up, and then I'll epoxy everything, screw it all down. I mean, it's gonna be super tough. I don't even know if I really need a layer of glass between everything. I might do it anyway, just because, like, why not overbuild it? But once I shape everything up, it should fit a little better on the edges. I won't need so much thickened epoxy on the sides. And I'm gonna, I think, bevel back so that I can lay the glass flat along the edge, over the edge there. So that edge will actually shore up pretty well and look pretty good, and bevel back towards the locker. But the locker now has a good 1/2 inch of clearance even with the angle, so we should be good. Stay tuned. All right. It wasn't too bad. It was probably about an hour, I guess. I was able to use my variable speed on the deck, but coming up on the bulwarks, it didn't fit really, so had to get out my little wand sander and yeah, pretty much everything up. It's real clean. I'll just bag it off tonight, just tarp it so it doesn't get wet in the morning. I can do the epoxying of the pieces. And here is the block. I'm just going to basically epoxy. I've got stainless steel screws. I'll screw it down, epoxy. I might do glass in between, but it's just a lot more work and it's going to get bolted through, so I don't really see why I need it. And each one of those layers of coosa board has 2 layers of woven in it anyway. Thickened epoxy around the edges. It was hard to get the angles exact because everything curves a little bit, but I figured thickened epoxy will fill all that in and not be a big deal. I'll just go layer by layer and then I'll just paint it, primer it, leave it, because I won't be able to install the windlass this week. Well, I had the last piece to do and it was getting pretty hot. Yeah, it's like 80, it's mid 80s. I mean, there's a breeze, but it was in the sun, so I didn't want it to cure up too fast. The last little gaps I had to fill with the thickened epoxy, and so I wet this towel down, put some peel ply over it, then some plastic, and then this towel, a wet towel, which I think should keep the temperature pretty good. And I've got 2 little fans blowing on it from my battery box here. So hopefully that'll do. It was just a bit of a thicker gap, and I mean, it's Texas, so in the morning it's all wet, and by the time it's dry it starts heating up. So I got all the layers in though of the coosa board, and it's really just around the edge, so it's not as much as I need it for structure, but I just needed to fill in the gap. I mean, we should be good to go, but we won't know until I pull that thing off. Hopefully everything doesn't burst out in flames.